All right. So, with the Blackbeard pirates finally showing up, finally showing their hands, their interaction specifically with Saturn, while fairly brief, has really given us a lot to discuss and consider going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's been speculated for a while that Blackbeard's a little bit different.
Yeah.
He's not only just kind of weird, but has kind of broken a lot of rules and been the exception for a lot of things, and a lot of it seems like it kind of might relate back to what Saturn mentioned about Teach's special lineage.
Well, yeah, and especially with the immediate follow-up being Augur telling him to his face that they're hoping to get the world out of all of this, really leads us to believe that he is most likely a descendant of Rocks D. Zebek, the last man who tried to take over the world.
Yeah, and that would definitely be in line too with Devon and them explaining when he's like, why are you following him? Why are you doing all these stunts? And they're like, well, he's special. Like, his lineage is special. If he comes from a man like Zebek, he could be special.
And that's the same way the Rocks Pirates were, is he brought together so many powerhouses under his flag.
Exactly, and it worked out fairly well. I mean, there was plenty of infighting, and they like to comment on, I mean, people like Whitebeard didn't seem like they kind of fit that mold, but for the most part, they were the most feared crew on the seas, and it would have probably lasted longer if not for getting caught up in God Valley.
Right, and God Valley specifically is the first point we'll touch on with this whole Rocks D. Zebek connection for Blackbeard. Is his age is listed as 38 years old, and God Valley happened to occur 38 years ago. Now, this is where Rocks is said to have died, and it's also where Shanks was found as a baby.
So it also tied those two together, as they've kind of consistently had their own history, not only with Blackbeard being the one to give Shanks his iconic scar, but also Shanks has consistently gone out of his way from when he was on Roger's crew to be like, that one's kind of different. He doesn't even sleep.
Right, and he also clearly knew about the Nika fruit when he stole it, so who's to say he doesn't also have more information than he's letting on when it comes to Blackbeard with his darkness.
It is kind of interesting, though, because Shanks as a kid initially was like, wow, he must get so much more done and have more adventures, and now he's like, I'm his number one hater. But no, yeah, it could be the same reason he went to the Gorosei, and it could be the reason he talked to about a certain pirate, and it could be Blackbeard himself. It would make sense if he's saying, hey, remember how I came from God Valley when you killed that guy? Yeah, that guy had a kid, and he's still out here, and he's now coming to the surface.
And this got me thinking about, could it even be possible that Rocks isn't the only powerful name in Blackbeard's family tree? Is it possible that maybe even Emu could have worked with a member of the Rocks family to take over the world during the Void Century?
Yeah, and that would explain why Blackbeard's consistently been kind of an overly knowledgeable character. I know there's speculation and things like Oda being like, well, he'd be an archaeologist if it was a different job. Like, it's his character type. And sure, he likes history and all that, but like, he knows a lot. He knew what the fruits could do. He knew which fruit he wanted. He knew which fruit he needed. And he consistently is proving that he knows how to play the world government like a fiddle. So, I don't know if they should really be expecting anything less of a great man that came from another one that inspired other greats.
Yeah, and to me it's just similar to how Luffy's family is full of powerful figures who have a strive for freedom. Blackbeard's family could be similar, but with the desire to take over the world, which could go back to Emu using and then betraying them.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I mean, there's some other speculations I've seen, just to throw in a quick note, or some people will mention maybe Blackbeard and Rocks are from the family of Joyboy, or something like that, making their blood special and that lineage special, which is possible, but it'd be an interesting dichotomy between Luffy with the will of Joyboy and Blackbeard with the blood of Joyboy. But I mean, it could even show why Blackbeard would know about Luffy's Nika ability.
Yeah, why he could have scouted him out all the way back in Mocktown.
Yeah.
He could have had that prior knowledge to the true root of that fruit.
and exactly what it does to the character of a person. So seeing how he might rise up to him when he had the opportunity. But it seems a bit interesting because they didn't get like the updated bounties, and they were like, oh, his price is up. We should go chase after him now before they head off to Skypiea. But still, it always seems like he's withholding a little bit from even the audience as to what he really knows. So
well, and especially now we're seeing just how calculated he can be.
Exactly. But that could maybe also explain his body's lineage in a certain ways. All the way back in Marineford, I remember Marco mentioned right after Teach revealed that he could have the two of Devil Fruit abilities, that he was commenting, well, he always has had a strange body, so if anyone could do it, it would be Blackbeard. So perhaps that does result as coming from a direct descendant of a legendary enough pirate that they had to erase him from history. Or could be plenty of other races too.
Right, could be like a long lost race similar to the Buccaneers. And that could also play into why he apparently doesn't ever sleep.
That's true. That's one question that consistently feels like it's like not answered for me. I don't know if we've really received any evidence towards something like that.
Not really, no.
He just has never slept, and yet he's consistently held on the pedestal with some of the other dreamers in the series, which is kind of also an interesting oxymoron of sorts.
He can't sleep, he's always scheming.
And maybe he does have all that extra time like Shanks' head, but he's using it to trying to make up for centuries worth of injustices against his family, like you mentioned.
I keep coming back to the panel where Augur tells him, the world, we're trying to get the world. He's saying that to one of the leaders of the world government. Like, that's a bold statement, and they said it so calmly. Like, they know that they have this and they can take this from them.
It is kind of interesting, especially the way Devon explains he's special. Like, that could mean a lot in this series. There's plenty of special characters, but for them to be so sure to stand in the face of the Gorosei, get the best of him, and then just leave, I mean, it kind of throws back to the scene where Brooks stands in front of Big Mom, and he's like, well, if I can't be expected to like stand against you and not have a plan to not die, how can I be expected to serve on the King of the Pirates crew? So in a similar manner, they're that devoted to Blackbeard in the face of an even greater power on the world scale. So there is something truly special about him that they know about that the rest of us do not.
Right, and like he's done the one thing Rocks couldn't, which is build a crew that has that cohesion, has that unity, and can actually play out this plan to take over the world.
And now with the events of chapter 1107 and Devon getting the appearance of the Gorosei in their possession, it's perhaps that Blackbeard is now even closer than Rocks has ever been to taking over that world seat that they're chasing. But that's just an interesting little speculation we had, kind of based off of that one line in the most recent chapter, and we wanted to maybe expand on it with some other recent references throughout the story that we've seen, because as antagonists are falling, it seems like Blackbeard's going to be one of the few we have to go through last. So it's about time we really start to get to know him a bit better. That's all we have for this video, so make sure you guys like and subscribe for more stuff like this, or let us know anything else or other characters you want to hear about in the future. So make sure you come back to listen for that, and as always, be crew.